I'm Ravi, and I have always wanted to become a writer. There is something about language which has always fascinated me. I took a lot of pleasure in words when I was a child. I remember wanting to deconstruct words and wanting to know their meaning and where those meanings came from. Uh, which and this proclivity towards language and writing was probably why I was drawn to philosophy as my optional subject, because philosophy as a discipline is so deeply oriented with language, and I was drawn to that even though I am a computer engineer by training. Um, One of my favorite philosophers, Ludwig Wittgenstein, uh, said that he famously said that the limits of my language are the limits of my world. And what that means is that all I know is what I have words for. And I take inspiration from that. And so I think that essay writing is a lot like you painting a picture of the world about a certain issue for your reader. Essay writing is an act of painting a narrative in the mind of your reader about the way you see that particular aspect, and just really throwing light on that topic from all dimensions, making it very clear for them so that they can see for themselves. The UPSC preparation journey for me was one of the best things that ever happened. It forced me to get smarter. I got the opportunity for the first time in my life to learn at my own pace and in my own style, and I could learn what I wanted to learn. And that set me free from that stifling examination system where I never really enjoyed learning and reading as much. The preparation journey woke my curiosity, and it has only been increasing with time ever since, and it has added a lot of value to my life. But writing as my passion was triggered after the UPSC exam preparation, where you must read and write a lot, as you know. Because when you're out of school, once you're out of school, it's really easy to lose touch with writing. You don't really end up writing that much. Most exams are computer based now anyway, and you're completely out of touch with it, with writing and expressing and arguing with paper and putting pen to paper and all that, and you realize that you are in a situation where you will be writing 27 hours worth of examination. That's 3 hours and about 9 papers in total for the UPS examination. That's about 27, or that's a lot of writing, and no one is prepared for that. So when I found myself in that situation, I was forced to innovate, and I learned a lot of tricks and hacks along the way about preparation in general and writing in particular. And I was able to clear the examination thrice in a row. And then I joined the services. Now as a hobby, I write academic papers in philosophy and psychology, and I also write a blog called becomingias.com. I am also currently in my final year of a master's degree in clinical psychology. But that was life before the pandemic hit. And it's unbelievable that this mega event has happened in our lifetime. I mean, one day everything is fine, and the next thing you know, the whole world shuts down because there's a disease. And it has been devastating to see the effect that this pandemic has had. But for me, it presented an opportunity, and that opportunity was to finally write write that book that I've been always wanting to write. And because the lockdown and the quarantine, it gave me the perfect environment to fulfill that itch. But I didn't quite realize what I should write about. I wanted to write about a lot, but I did not know what would be the more valuable thing, because I wanted it to have some impact. I wanted it to help somebody. There's no point writing something if it doesn't help anyone. And that's where Mitrapal sir, at the right time, pointed me in the right direction. Mitrapal sir has been a friend, a trusted friend, a mentor, a teacher of mine for many years. He's an excellent teacher and a superb human being. It was him. He suggested that, basically he challenged me to solve a problem that his students had been having for a long time in the UPSC exam. And the problem was about essay and answer writing in the mains exam. A lot of his students found no guidance in essay writing, and some of them felt really insecure about their language skills. There was no clarity about what exactly a good essay is and how to make sure that once you do what you need to do, you get those points in the essay exam. And there are times when the margin of points which you can lose in the essay paper versus what you can gain in that essay paper is so large that it becomes imperative that you get that right. There is no clarity about which topics that appear before you in the exam, which topics to choose. Should you choose the philosophical or ethical essays, or should you choose the specific and narrow essay topics? And there were a lot of other challenges associated with that domain of the examination, the answer writing in the mains exam, and all of that. And he challenged me to once and for all decode essay writing for his students, and that is what got me started on the essay and answer writing book project. See, that's the thing about good teachers; they can point you in the right direction. And Mithrapal sir did that. He also knew how to motivate me, and so he set me uh, to this challenge, and I can't resist a good challenge. So I set to work on the essay project, and so because of him, I ended up writing my first book, which is called the Ultimate Cheat Book of Essay and Answer Writing, which is available on Amazon. But why cheat book? What's with the word cheat? Because obviously we can't do anything illegal in the examination, and we always make sure to stay within the rules of the examination. There can be no compromise on that. But what is an examination? An examination is a test with rules. You know what else has rules? Games have rules. An examination is essentially a very frightening game with real life consequences, with rules. And like all games, you can sometimes bend rules towards you to get an advantage. And that's why every examination has weaknesses. Anything which helps you gain an advantage by exploiting those weaknesses, where you bend the rules just a little bit to suit you, is what a cheat code is. It is not like we can win the lottery by cheating or anything. That can't be done, and it shouldn't be. Uh, you will still have to do your hard work to achieve your dream, but that ride can be made a lot smoother. And in a competitive examination like the UPSC exam, where competition is super tight, the margins of just a few marks can make all the difference. Oftentimes, you notice that uh, the scores which people get are so close. There's very little difference, percentage-wise, between the kind of score that topper gets and the kind of score of somebody who didn't even get called for the interview. And of course, this margin, this little fractional margin, is what creates all the difference. So you need to know exactly what you're doing in the examination. And you need to take every advantage that you can get in the examination so that you can clear it in your first attempt. There are more than enough hacks, tricks, cheat codes, insights, and methods in here, um, which will which can safely increase your score by as much as 20, even 40%, which is more than enough margin to get through this exam and just get done with it. And so it was my dream to become an author, and Mitrapal sir dream to develop something for his students like never before. And so I finally got to do something which I always wanted to do. I wrote that book, and I have tried my best to make the best essay writing video lectures in the world for you. It is because of him that I am an author, and it is because of him that I have cleared the exam. So I have made these video lectures uh, as a token of respect and gratitude uh, to him for everything um, that Mitrapal sir has done for me. These video lectures, these explanations are based on my book. Uh, they've been made by me and been given to Mitrapal sir completely free of charge. I have no commercial or financial interest in this course or otherwise. Uh, these videos, these explanations, these um, tutorials are my humble contribution to Mitrapal sir and his students, and he really cares about his students. Uh, this book of mine, the book is mine, and the course belongs to Mitrapal sir. Um, and in the process of putting all the information and all the knowledge in the ultimate truth book, I tried to do as much as I could, cover as much ground as I could, and it's really packed with a lot of practical, relevant information and some very powerful tricks as well. But a book, being a book, has certain limitations. You see, even though it has all the information and knowledge, you will have to work really hard to teach yourself from the book. The book doesn't speak for itself. You're going to have to read it and do the hard work of actually translating my insights first into your mind and then implementing them and actually learning from that book. And there are so many things which I could explain in spoken language by using images and visuals, which you would find a lot easier to understand than to read in a book. And visuals as a learning tool are very powerful learning tools. Did you know that roughly 80% of learning is visual? So even when you're reading a book, you are forming imagery and visuals in your mind about what you're reading. If it's a good book, and if your concentration is good, and you get some kind of a flow going, then it's easier to form these images, and those images have some form of continuity, some narrative which you can follow, which leads to more concentration, and you can read for longer. And that's where these video lectures come to the rescue. I've used a lot of images. I've used a lot of visual cues, and I've made this whole thing very easy on your eyes. And you'll see that it's full of memes, funny pictures, infographics, animations, and whatnot. Um, Visual information is easier to remember and it's easier to recall. So why not make the most of it? It has to be a practical approach when we are learning. We want to optimize our time and our energy. And it's also much less boring than just reading black and white text, which you anyways do all the time, and which you have to do plenty of anyway because you're preparing for the UPSC exam. And so I didn't just want to throw more text at you. But you see, there's a shortcoming with just video lectures as well, and that is that I can't interact with you. I don't know how much you're learning, and I don't know if you're able to learn what you need to learn. I want to know if you're able to learn what is more important for you to learn. Have you been able to distinguish between your strengths and weaknesses and to focus on your weaknesses? Because that's what matters, the strengths you already have. Because you see, as far as teaching is concerned, you have to realize that everyone has a different set of abilities. They are good at some things, not so good at others. You, for example, may be good at general studies, better than you are in writing essays, or you may be very good at writing and not so good with your knowledge base. You might be a really good writer, but not that good of an editor. You may be great at grammar, but you may not be so good at seeing the big picture as a whole. And so you see, there are many things which go into writing a world class essay. And so, with your strengths and weaknesses, you need to play on your strengths and get the maximum advantage that you can in this highly competitive exam. And of course, the cheat codes, they really help uh, pushing that margin in your favor as well. So the videos are good, but they're not ideal. And lucky for you guys, That's where Mithipal sir and his team have they've taken these videos and they have turned them into a very enjoyable, interactive kind of exercise, in an interactive kind of game actually. Um, and this thing which is floating in the air next to me is your entire course. Basically, this course is a game where you'll go from one level to the next, unlocking secrets and levels as you go. um, you'll unlock cheat codes and the next lectures and the next exercises and so on. And you see that it has these five modules in total, and these modules are like levels. You'll have to complete one to get to the other, and so you'll have to complete all five in order to complete the game. And in the course of that journey, in the course of that game, you will find lessons and many useful um, ways, tricks, insights, hacks, and tools which have never been shared before, which I have embedded inside these modules. You will go into each one of these one by one and come out of each one of them having learned something essential about essay and answer writing, and something that you will never forget. But you won't be able to get to those cheat codes just by watching videos. You will have to cross certain obstacles, which means that you will have to do some exercises and some assignments before the next video gets unlocked, or before that next cheat codes gets unlocked. Now, I promise that those exercises are not hard. In fact, they're a lot of fun. What I can promise is that they've been designed in such a way that you will be forced to revise whatever was said in the lecture. So, say you missed something important in the lecture, you won't miss it in the exercises, and you will be forced to learn by the time you're through with it, and it won't take much time. More importantly, uh, as your preparation stands, I want you to waste the minimum amount of time as far as essay writing and answer writing is concerned. Uh, because once you spend time doing this course and going through the levels of this game and watching this video, I want you to absorb everything important that there is to be said about essay writing, everything, and be done with it in a single setting. In a single sitting, there shouldn't be a lot of need for you to come back and revise for the essay paper. Once you go through with this, you are done with essay and answer writing. And in any case, you have general studies and ethics and a lot of other stuff to prepare. And this course, this whole thing will take care of that, so that you are through with essay and answer writing once and for all. When you go through with this is just a simple fact, and it's just the way that it's been put together. I believe that if you do something, you should get it done in a single setting, though, so that you don't have to worry about it again. And since you're crazy enough to take the UPSC exam, I'm betting you have a lot to worry about anyway. So when I say you get done with something, once you approach that thing, I mean, say there is a lecture in module two about introductions, and once you go through that and the exercises thereof, you won't need to worry about introductions. You will learn how to make introductions after you make a few of them in there. And this course is going to take care of all the writing needs as far as your mains exam is concerned, including how to write, how to structure your answers in general studies, um, in ethics, as well as in your optional subject. In fact, some of the fact sheets, some of the cheat sheets that you'll find um, hidden and embedded in this course are directly usable in general studies, and are have been put there to increase that knowledge base upon which that entire structure of general studies you can impose and easily remember. And I will take you through my own thought process in many of these lectures. I will think out loud, and I will tell you how I approach the essay topic, uh, many of them from the previous year papers, and I'll begin to deconstruct that topic and then get to the heart of the essay topic, and I'll show you how to do that. Uh, there's a lot of that, and many solved examples which I will be solving in front of you in the course. I'll share my mistakes, my knowledge, I'll share my insights, my thought process as I go along, so that you understand not only how to do this, but how to think about it so that you can take that and just use it everywhere across the board. And the idea is that once you play this game and you complete it, you will have learned how to write amazing essays, which will fetch marks in the examination, and you can actually go in and start playing right away. To see what I mean, check it out. And that's how you'll progress from one level to the next, unlocking these levels along the way. But as you go through the course, what will really be happening is that you will be um, going through the process of learning how to write very, very good essays in the exam. And you may not realize it because it's been structured that way, but that's what you'll be doing. And there's a way to do that, there's a way to go through the motions, so to speak, so that everything that you require to become a really good writer as far as analytical essays and answers is concerned is all built in, it's all structured in. And I will take you inside the examination hall in these videos, because there's no point in teaching you about how to write essays if you can't write essays in the examination hall. Because what the ultimate test is that you should be able to write a really good essay in the exam. Um, there's no fun in you writing good essays in the exam and then not and then not doing so well when you're actually in the exam. And so it is important to prepare for that kind of situation. Um, and so what happens inside the examination hall is usually very different from what happens when you're outside of it practicing. Say, for example, you're in the examination hall and you'll have to do some rough work for your essays. Now, where are you going to do that rough work? And how should you do it in the least possible amount of time? Which form should it be in so that it becomes easily graspable to you? And how can you get the maximum juice out of your thoughts when you are brainstorming in those few precious moments when you're just about to begin writing? How are you going to manage your time? How much time are you going to give to brainstorming an essay topic? How much time for actually writing it? How much for revision? Do you want to take a look inside? Okay, I will give you a quick tour.